Hello, welcome back. My name is Reverend Will Bouvel, and I'm here with Father Chris Hardman, continuing our series exploring creation spirituality. Now, Chris, in the last videos, you've told us about what creation spirituality is, and we've named that there are a couple paths in, in creation spirituality. We've named them the Via Positiva, the Via Negativa, the Via Creativa, and the Via Transformativa. That's some fancy Latin for everybody. Hope you can follow along there. But the via really just means a way or a path or a road. But what are these roads, before we talk about positiva today, what are these roads at all? Where are they leading? What's that about?
Well, I guess they would be a way to the divine. They're moving us towards experiencing the presence of God. And I think all of them do that. The positive way of being a part of nature helps us to do that. The negative way of getting in touch with our suffering and with contemplative prayer, those get us in touch with God. And those kind of spark together in creativity and transformation. Creativity in terms of birthing new things, and transformation and becoming more compassionate.
Okay.
In that sense. So it's all an experience of God, a path towards God in one sense or another.
And by naming these different pathways, I mean, instead of them being like a syllabus or like a set of directions, they seem to be just clarifying out of human experience, identifying different things that we already know as being a pathway to God, so we can just sort of hold it in a different way.
Right. And I think that's exactly what it's saying. But it's saying too that when we join the positive and the negative together, they create a different way of thinking, a different way of being, and that leads us to a more compassionate life. So it's all one thing together in one sense. It's just separating the paths so that we see them, and that the way you go about this, you could start anywhere. You could start at the negative and then and come to add the positive, and vice versa and so forth. So it's all one path, but this is a way of thinking about it. It helps us see it.
People might be coming to God, and we find this in church as we look out into the congregation. You don't know where everyone is coming from. Some people are finding themselves in a place of suffering. Some are finding them in a place of inspiration and creativity. Some are in a place of just enjoyment and delight. And this helps us name that all of those are points on an approach to God.
Right.
It doesn't have to all be good, for instance.
Right.
And it definitely doesn't have to all be bad or negative or suffering. But any of those things are good places to be, so that we can see that we can go towards God.
Exactly. And naming them helps us to know that. To know we're not on the wrong track if we're suffering. It's a part of everybody's experience.
Yeah. And not only is it okay, but it's actually a rich, deep
way of being. It can be a lead to birthing a new way of thinking.
Well, as a way to explore that a little bit more specifically, let's talk about the Via Positiva. Sounds like a good thing, positive. What's the Via Positiva all about?
I think basically it would be saying that we need to move towards falling in love with creation. Falling in love with creation. Matthew Fox says if you're going to put it in a commandment form, it would be fall in love 3 times today.
I love that.
And it's really about how we've just moved away from creation. We see it as an object to be used and abused rather than as being a part of it. And once you begin to feel that you're a part of it, you begin to rejoice and give thanks for it. My wife has a garden in the backyard, and just to see the new growth of this is mostly vegetables, but there's also flowers, of course. and to see, the roses blooming, or the peonies right now, or they was last week, I guess, where they were the height. But you just, they make you smile when you see it. That's falling in love. Appreciating them, giving thanks for them. That this is what the positive way is. And so much of our lives we just ignore it. We don't really think about it. Now we might like flowers, but we don't feel like they're overwhelmingly important, like what this would say. That once you feel like you're a part of it all, you give thanks for it all because it's all important.
Yeah, it's such a common thing to say, like, oh, a beautiful rainbow, or a impressive waterfall.
Yeah.
But to connect those, we've all had those experiences, or a beautiful sunset.
Yeah.
To say that's actually connected in to this glorious original blessing that is in all creation.
Exactly. Very much true. And it's one of those things that you never run out of things to fall in love with. There are only a billion stars up there. You just got one every day. That's one thing right there. The planets. I fall in love with Saturn every time I see it. I get the telescope and get out and see the rings around Saturn, and I just can't believe it. It's just like a out of body experience.
And I think what's helpful is that we're not just talking about in noticing some of these things. We're the Via Positiva is asking us to let yourself fall in love.
Right.
Because when I read that, I love that in that commandment form. It's like, well, I do feel this impulse to love a flower, or a bee that I meet as I notice it go, or one of the fireflies that's coming out this time of year.
Yeah.
But there's some like distance that makes me feel like that's silly, or like I shouldn't really do that, or what does that even mean? And the Via Positiva says, like, go for it.
Yeah. We're made for relationship, and the nature is part of our relationship. We are in relationship with nature. Recognizing it just makes us feel more at peace, more who we are. It's not just about our human relationships. It's about our relationship, and we know this with our pets. For sure. We fall in love with our pets every day. But the same thing can be true for the squirrels and the chipmunks and the birds and all the other things outside. I mean, I don't know how many species of insects there are, but I mean, you can fall in love with an insect every day for the rest of eternity. It's one of those things so there's lots of things to fall in love with, and to go about your daily work and see those things and recognize them and give thanks for them is a way of experiencing the presence of God with us.
And to enjoy them. Delight is a great word too from Scripture.
Yes.
That takes all these things are part of this Via Positiva.
Yeah.
Is there anything more to say about, other than letting ourselves falling in love, which is a lot, and it's not to be underestimated how significant that is in the way it changes us, but on that path, is there anything else about the positive of what happens to that, or how that develops, or...
I think for me, what's helped me a lot is the new cosmology, in that sense that I love the Genesis stories in the Bible, and they're very helpful. The first passage in thing where we see God creating things in everything before, and humans are the pinnacle of that, I guess, the culmination. The human beings made in God's image, male and female, is the kind of pinnacle of it. I think what that's trying to tell us really is that all of it that came before is important too. That all of it kind of moves up, much like we would think about evolution. We're all a part of each other. And I think that intimacy seeing that larger role of creation. That scientists tell us it's been what 4.8 billion years that Earth has been here and has created that we're the culmination of that. And I think that helps us to get a, a hold of a God that's just way beyond our understanding, a real mystery. And that the creation is a part of that mystery. When we see that, we see the Christ in all creation. So we're giving homage to the Christ in not only our relationship with each other, but within everything that's here. That's all part of Christ. This is a Celtic way of understanding things that we've talked about many times. But the Celts said that not only is everything Christ, but new births are about Christ. Everything is about the Christ. And I think once you begin to see that God is a part of everything, when you're worshiping God, you can worship God by, appreciating everything around you, giving thanks for everything around you.
You're really leading us to say that by beginning of letting ourselves fall in love, that we get to delight, we get to enjoy, but there can still be sometimes like a hierarchy that we experience in that, or that we might not recognize, of we people are noticing parts of nature, enjoying them. But what you're calling us to further down this Via Positiva is that it's not just that we notice those things, it's that we get to notice how we are connected, that we are related to these things. They are not other things for us to only fall in love with, but as we fall more deeply in love with them, we fall in love with something that connects it all, including ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Well, this is great what a wonderful way to begin these paths with the Via Positiva. I hope that you can go out and fall in love with 3 things today and challenge yourself to do that every day. It's a wonderful thing to do this summer, a great practice for all of us, and it is leading us to God in a deeply spiritual way that you may not have realized before. So I hope that you can recognize that too. Thank you, Father Chris. We're going to learn more about the other paths soon.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.